On a very sombre note, you would have heard about the campaign around Australia to try and do something about these cowardly one-punch attacks. It has been mostly Sydney-based, but I think the whole of Australia has resonated with this story, and it's in fact gone as far as WA, where one of our great Australian athletes has got behind a campaign. In fact, he is funding it himself to try and help out, and that is, of course, the great Danny Green. Thanks for coming in, mate. This is terrific.
Thanks very much, Bill.
First of all, what got you involved in this thing? There was a pretty big story back in your hometown.
Yeah, it would have been about 2 years ago we made the ad, and saw, read the paper, picked up the paper, and another young kid, or I think it was a young man, had, been senselessly felled and then subsequently, unfortunately, tragically passed away. I thought, man, this is crazy. This is, nuts. And we come together and we said, let's make an advert. With some people I knew, we said, let's do it, and we put it together and tried to give it to the West Australian government, but unfortunately they didn't take it up. And so then we're actually coming over last 2 weeks ago to go on the project on Channel 10. They kind of backed it. They said, we'll run it for you. And Perth in Western Australia, Channel 7, Channel 7 West Media were fantastic. We're trying to get behind it the whole way as well. And it just happens the timing, unfortunately, young Daniel Christie, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, passed away after Thomas Kelly the year before passed away, so it was thrown in everyone's face again. So then Carl Stefanovic got it and he said, look, let's whack it on Channel 9, and then went on the project, then went on the Sunrise Show, and it's just gone nuts since then, I guess, because it's so raw and there's such, there's such feeling in the community. We're all on the same page. We want to see an end to it, and thankfully Premier O'Farrell showed some fortitude and said, I'll take it on board, and he's urged all the networks to run it as a CSA, free-to-air, free of charge, and give it a real good rotation, so it's fantastic.
Before we talk more about it, let's have a look at the community service announcement here from Danny.
Take it from me, one punch can be lethal. Thrown in anger like this, without warning, without any gloves, it can be deadly. One punch can end his life and ruin yours. It takes grunt to throw it, it takes guts to walk away.
Well, we know there's some very weird people out there, some of whom have already been through the court system, and one could argue from what they've said in those cases and what's been said by their lack of support group, you might say, that they are going to be an isolated case. However, that is a very commonplace situation in pubs and clubs around Australia, and for the vast majority of people who have the capacity for decency and rational thought, then that could hopefully save a few people.
Yeah, mate, it's about, blokes trying to get the stigma associated with throwing a punch like that.
We glamorise it too much as a people, as society as a whole. I think we probably haven't we?
Well, the word king here, king. The word king is it's a prestigious.
Well, some of the mongrels who've been in these cases have actually said, one particular guy who was in fact convicted. There was debate about whether the sentence was long enough, but he actually was telling all his mates, "I've been in a fight." He wasn't in a fight. You know what a fight is.
Yeah.
This guy was running up behind people and hitting them from behind when they didn't even know he was there.
It's a gutless manoeuvre, isn't it? I mean, the message in your ad is incredibly simple. It can change your life and his. It's not just there's not just a victim here. You can actually end up hurting your family if you do it too. All of a sudden, you're in the court system, and there's guilt and all kinds of things attached to it. But sort of, is there an extended message that you would like to, I guess, add to what you say in the ad?
Yeah, but like I was trying to get through it to, and it will take a few ads, I guess, if the campaign takes off. That the stigma associated with throwing a punch like that, going out and assaulting someone in an unprovoked, disgracefully gutless, piss-weak act, and taking someone's life, you are considered a dog.
Yeah.
And within 10 years' time, like 20, 30 years ago, if you had a fight, you had a stink, and something happened, you wouldn't sit in the boots with the bloke on the ground. That was it. The fight's over, you defend yourself, you walk away, that's it. But if you did sit in the boots, the guy was considered a dog. Well, we want the same. We want to get that message through. It's a shameful, low, disgraceful, gutless, piss-weak act. And if you do that, then you are considered and branded a dog forever, and that's how it should be. So if we can get that kind of stigma associated with this type of offence, hopefully it will deter people. Because and change your name to a coward's punch instead of a king. If you're branded a coward as a bloke, there's nothing worse.
Well, what I also like about the imagery there with you, Danny, is that and Andrew Ryan, the Bulldogs former Bulldogs captain, touched on it in an article in Sydney, is that it's up to mates out there to stop drunken idiots from doing these things. And I think the imagery of you reaching in and stopping that punch should be a message to all mates out there, if their mates are out of control and being yobbos, to stop them. Not wait till the fight starts and then jump in on the guy he's fought and kick the hell out of him while he's on the ground, which is what we're now seeing these days. Be a real mate and actually stop it before it starts.
That's what a man would do, you know. And it's difficult with young blokes, and I don't know what's changed with society, but you see the girls egging the blokes on as well, you know, and there's pressure and there's testosterone, there might be alcohol, there might be drugs, there's peer pressure to impress your mates. But you know what, a better man, a stronger man's actually a bloke who walks over and says, hey champ, come on mate, let's just call it and all. Don't worry about it, walk away, let him have the last laugh, let him be a hero. But you're going to wake up feeling stronger, better and better about yourself, and you're not in trouble having killed someone and changed, you know, lots of people's lives forever.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What happened? We all grew up and, you know, first one got into a couple of scuffles, you know, when you're young, but where did it all change? I don't understand.
Yeah, what's going on?
Where did the line go from a scuffle to right to do that?
I think TV and the movie industry has got a lot to do with it. That they've and games, PlayStation, like violence and heavy, hardcore violence has almost become, we've almost become desensitised to it because we see it all the time on TV, and now movies that would have been R-rated are now PG or M.
Yeah, okay.
And so, you know, the violence in TV and films is somewhat glorified, so then young guys sit and they go, well man, he's the guy on TV, yeah, he's a villain, but you know, the chicks love him. I want to go, that's who I want to be, so it's...
There's a lot of that.
It doesn't have the consequences either, I think. You see them get hit and they get back up again 5 seconds later, and you know, James Bond...
We don't get to see the people that are rewarded either for stopping someone fighting. You know what I mean? And that's what the problem is as well. Is us actually probably talking so much about glamorising it all the time, but it takes so much guts to actually stop a mate from doing it, because what's wrong with you, mate? It's a fight, don't you want to fight? You know, and it's not actually a fight, is it? It's more of a that's it.
Yeah,
cold punch.
And actually, maybe this is a great point for you to delineate the difference between the violence that's glorified in a movie and what you do in the fight ring, because they're very different things, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely, Mega. They're, you know, mine's full contact sport. I mean, you know, I don't see Tig running down the road and just all of a sudden just going bang and crash tackling or shirt fronting someone from 50 metres away. The guy didn't see it coming. That's what you do on the field. It's a full contact tough sport you play, but you don't do it when you're out and about. Neither do fighters, and we don't do it. And you know, I'm a consenting adult signed on to fight another guy who's it's combat, it's sport, and he's an elite athlete at the top of his game. He's sacrificed and dedicated a lot to get where he is. And you know, it's combat, it's man on man, it's a competitive arena, not a malicious, gutless, disgraceful assault.
We wish you all the best with this campaign, mate. I can't let you go on that last note too before asking, how's retirement sitting with you, if it is in fact a retirement? I suppose if a good enough offer comes along, you're fit enough and ready enough to think about it, aren't you?
I'm ready to go in a month.
Doesn't sound like your training's changed.
Yeah, it looks pretty good now.
Do you like that word retirement, or is it something we should ban as well?
You hate it too, don't you? It's no good. They should ban and call it something else. And you know what? If I don't fight again, I was pretty blessed and pretty lucky. I had ups and downs and had a very fulfilling career. And if I do fight again, then it'll be very exciting. But I'm really not sure. And I probably, if I don't, I didn't retire because I just didn't want to wake up. I'm probably just easing myself in.
Do you miss it? Do you miss the excitement? Because I know, and I imagine the same. I miss the excitement sometimes, especially when I see people walking out onto a field, or I imagine when you're watching people walk into a ring, it's almost like, oh, that's the bit I miss.
I look at all footballers and cricketers and basketballs, all athletes, no matter what discipline they're in or sport they're playing, and I watch them, and it's the walking out into their chosen arena, and that rush that I miss the most, and that's the most alluring part of it. That's the rush.
I wish I knew what that was like. Danny, thanks for coming in, mate. We really appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Cheers,
and
mate.
of course, we hope to get you in again at some stage to talk about whatever you like.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks very much.